Hello Internet, I'm Grace, and today we are going to be talking about slut shaming. Slut shaming is the act of trying to shame or degrade another person for their sexual identity or behaviors. This generally affects young girls and women, but it's not limited. Any person of any age or gender can be slut shamed. I remember the first time I was called a slut. I was 11 years old and I was ice skating with my best friend on a Friday night. I was never the most popular girl, but I was never really bullied because I didn't let anyone. Whenever someone laughed at me, I laughed right along with them. This was the night that changed. I didn't even know what slut meant. I just knew that I had heard older girls at school using it to describe people that they didn't like. I remember how I wanted to curl into myself and hide because I didn't understand why somebody would use a word like that to describe me. I didn't understand what I had done to make them think so low of me. That night when I got home, I googled what slut meant. I saw that it meant someone who had loose sexual morals or was promiscuous. If I had been confused, I was nearly catatonic at this point. I hadn't ever kissed a boy and I barely knew what sex was outside of what I'd learned in my public education sex ed class. I thought that people at school believed I was having sex with a bunch of different people, and I did everything that an 11-year-old girl had the power to do to try to change their minds. Eventually, people stopped calling me a slut. They moved on to the next girl. I felt accomplished, like I had cleared my name. I even started calling other girls sluts because I was just so happy that it wasn't directed at me. I didn't understand until years later that them calling me a slut wasn't about my so-called sexual prowess, but about them trying to feel bigger and better than me. They weren't trying to say that I was having sex with a lot of people. They just wanted to let me know that I wasn't as good as them. And that's what slut shaming is. A bunch of cowards and jerks who need to make other people feel bad to get off. However, as we get older, it does become increasingly more about sex, because sex is suddenly a part of our real lives. It's not just something we get skeeved out about in health class. Virginity and who has it and who doesn't become the hot topics of high schools. The guys are expected to have sex, and those who don't are ridiculed for being virgins or gay, and this is equally as repressive and demeaning as slut shaming. The young women are expected to be pure and untouched, and for whatever reason, we develop contempt for those who aren't. I'm not quite sure if this is jealousy or ignorance or a mix of the two, but it's disturbing to see that from such a young age, women are pitted against each other in matters that don't affect anyone else. And that's the important thing to remember. As long as they're being safe, what other people do in their sexual lives or otherwise does not affect you. You have no right to try to belittle or demean anyone for taking charge of their sexuality. We live in a time where laws are put into place to assure humans the rights to their own choices, but our brains are still struggling to keep up with that, and we still feel the need to try to dictate what others can and can't do. Someone who takes charge of their sexual identity, whether that be through abstaining or partaking, should be able to do so without fear of ridicule. This is the 21st century. I vote that we, as a whole, reclaim the word slut. We don't have to let a word crumple our self-esteem and self-worth. We don't have to give anyone the right to make us feel bad about our choices. And remember, you are not a victim. You make your own choices. Alright, this has been a video. I think I'm gonna start leaning my channel more towards like social justice-y stuff when I want to, but then like if I have a funny story or something, I'll tell it. I don't know, I like the direction my channel's heading, and I like talking about this stuff because I care a lot about it, and yeah. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you next week with a video on sexual harassment. Yeah, I have it planned. Okay, bye.